Peace, y'all. It's your girl, Keela Vaughn. I hope this message is reaching you in the best of spirits. It's our first video. I'm eating a blood orange. Don't mind me. So we are going to be talking about, I thought it was important to start off with this conversation because, again, if you do follow the Key to Health page on Instagram or follow my personal page, you know I'm always talking about just the vibration of things and like the energy and intention behind what we choose to eat. It is not just simply like, oh, don't eat that because it's unhealthy. A lot of the foods, all of the foods that we eat actually come with hormones, chemicals, certain things that make certain things in our body do different things, and that is all a part of our vibration, the vibration we carry and the vibration we give off to others. So a lot of times I'm talking about how we were influenced by a certain vibration or energy just from being in the womb. Before we even were consciously aware and bought earthside, we were already being affected by the decisions that those before us chose to do or not to do. So same applies for your sexual energy, who you choose to engage in sexual things with. We often hear about soul ties and that type of energy exchange, but today we're going to just be more on the food side of things and why it matters that you have a partner. If you are somebody who cares about what you consciously eat, why you have a partner who also cares about what they consciously eat and how they take care of their body. And I'm also going to be talking about just herbs for like yoni and just bodily fluids in general. I have female reproductive parts, so that's what I'll be focusing on. I can only speak from my experience, but just in general, this topic is for all genders because bodily fluid is bodily fluid. We all have it. I think a lot of emphasis is often put on women and what they come with because, oh, vagina is supposed to smell like this. You never ever see conversations on social media talking about what a penis is supposed to smell like or what semen is supposed to taste like. They really do we get the short end of the stick and they get a lot of the benefit of the doubt, when in reality a lot of the reason why you ladies pH is thrown off in the first place is because of them. So we're gonna get into some things. So first things first, I've never done a yoni steam before. I just want to put that out there. A lot of the information when you go on the internet and you search herbs for yoni, it's going to come up with things about yoni steams. I haven't ventured over into yoni steams yet. The way that I take care of my vagina is simply through what I eat every day, my day to day. Yoni steams are great. I've heard that they have really great benefits. Of course, you need to make sure you do it the certain way, a right way. I follow a lot of accounts on Instagrams of ladies who either sell yoni steams, teach you how to do yoni steams. You can also go on YouTube for that information and access it for free. So I never did a yoni steam before, so that's not what this is about. This is about like the foods that we intake, the herbs that I drink, and how those things play a part in my yoni, and also about how when I stopped eating dairy, it changed my discharge, which is a huge, that's the whole vagina. That's what we're going to be talking about. So dairy, as we know, has a lot of mucilage. Dairy comes with pus, blood secretions, blood, all types of stuff that you don't see with your eye, but that your body is most definitely being affected by. So when I stopped eating dairy and I started to cleanse, there was a lot of discharge that came out because it's basically like mucus. So even now I'm on a cleanse and I have to take these 3 pills a day. And there's been a lot of like excess discharge, right? Sometimes it's gonna have a smell depending on what your diet is. And again, you can even be a vegan, you can be plant-based, whatever, and you can still have discharge that is unhealthy, discharge that has a smell. Your vagina could smell a little off because of what you eat. If you eat a lot of processed foods, vegan or not, you're still gonna have weird bowel movements and weird discharge. So not to make it seem like discharge isn't normal, because it is. If your vagina doesn't have discharge, that's also a sign that you're not doing something right, because vaginas should not be dry either. They should have their natural lubrication. So again, you want to make sure like when you wash your yoni, of course, that you're not washing in it, that you're washing around the labia. You're not putting soaps in there. It doesn't matter. I don't care even if it's a yoni gel. I have yoni gel. I use Salt XO. It's a Black-owned business on Instagram. I use their yoni gel and their yoni bar. You don't put it in there. You literally just wash on the outside. And when you're doing what you're supposed to do with your diet, you do not have to worry about going in and cleaning or douching. You should never be douching, ever, ever. I've never done that before in my life. When I was growing up, my mom talked about that. Like, it was like the worst thing ever that you could do. And she knew from experience, because back in the day, they didn't have a lot of this information. So they were just doing whatever people were telling them to do, and douching was like a huge part of the culture. Don't ever do that. You will literally throw off your pH forever. And also washing in your vagina with soaps will also throw off your pH. Another thing that would throw off your pH, taking baths often. Baths are like a once every so often thing. If you take baths like every week, you probably should stop doing that. It's most likely throwing off your pH. So again, when I stopped eating dairy, I noticed, and then I started cleansing, I noticed that there was a lot of discharge that came out. So this is just like excess mucus from the dairy products, cheese, and all of that. It just builds up. So mucus doesn't only come out of your mouth and your nose, it also is going to show up in your underwear through your discharge. So stop eating dairy and you're going to see a huge difference. And you also have to make sure to cleanse. When you make huge changes within your eating habits, you have to cleanse in order to see the real results. You also have to cleanse because you have to give your body a fresh start to now get acquainted to new habits that you'll be picking up on. So not eating dairy and implementing the herbs that we're about to go into, I noticed that I was able to step my pussy game up by 100,000,000. And when I stepped my pussy game up, that means I want to step up my sexual partners and who was allowed to engage. Of course, you should be practicing safe sex anyways, so nobody's really getting that full like control over you or whatever. You shouldn't just be letting people come in you. I mean, that goes without saying, but if you are, just at least make sure that this person is healthy. So the herbs that I take every week, chamomile is really good for your yoni. It's also good for relaxation. It's good for your womb in general. So again, if you have female reproductive, chamomile is really good for the nervous system, which everybody can benefit from. This is something that will really just ease your anxiety, depression, something that again relaxes you, provides calm. Oregano and basil. Oregano, basil, and thyme are like my 3 best friends. I put those in every single thing that I make, every dish that I eat. Those are really, really good herbs. I've also read that basil and oregano are good for yoni steams. So if you are doing an at-home yoni steam and you're not buying it, or you're buying one, you may notice that it does have basil and oregano in it. Those are really great herbs for the yoni. Hibiscus, really great herb for the yoni. This is what I call pussy juice. I just made some hibiscus fresh for last week's pop-up that I had, and I still have a bunch of it left. I actually was drinking it yesterday, and I just sweetened it with a little bit of agave. Sometimes I don't even sweeten it. Hibiscus can also be used also for your hair and your scalp and your skin. So when you drink it, it also affects that. It makes you glow. It provides like a natural, it's a huge antioxidant. It's a flower that has a lot of antioxidants, but hibiscus is like good yoni juice for real. You'll just get the dry flower that you see in the grocery store. If you are native to like Southern California, then we have like Food for Less, Superiors, El Super. Any type of Mexican or Asian markets usually is going to have hibiscus. I say get the raw flowers instead of getting it already made because it's very simple. You're just going to take it, put it in the pot, boil it a little bit, then you turn it off. You don't have to keep boiling it. It literally just has to sit there, and then it's just going to start to come out. And then you pour it into something, strain it. You don't want to take the flour. With the flowers, you can save it. You can make tacos. That's a whole other topic for another video. So you're just going to strain it, and you're going to not throw that away. You're going to save that. And then again, you can choose to sweeten it with some agave, or you can leave it as is. I would not add any sugar. So even if it's cane sugar, I wouldn't add that. Sugar is not good for the yoni, but we'll get into that. Let me write that so I don't forget. Sugar, that's a huge one. And women tend to love sugar because of our hormones and PMS, which we'll get to. Hibiscus can also be good for easing PMS symptoms. So again, even when you're not on your cycle, the things that you do in your day-to-day are going to affect when your cycle does come. So people often say like, oh, they say you should exercise when you get cramps. They don't mean exercise when you get cramps on your period. They mean somebody who exercises daily is not going to have horrible cramps when their period does come. We have to get into the mindset of preventative health, not reactionary health. Reactionary meaning after something has happened, or now that I'm sick, now that I feel bad, now I'm reacting by doing something healthy. Preventative meaning I do these things every day, so that way when the problem or issue does arise, I'm already in great shape. Preventative. So the things that we do, and this is why being vegan or plant-based or healthy or health conscious is not a trend but a lifestyle. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, because all of those choices piggyback off each other, right? So again, we have hibiscus, then we have raspberry leaf. So this one you can get in the store, raspberry leaf tea, really, really good for reproductive, really good for cramps, yoni, all of that, like raspberry tea. Another antioxidant. So berries in general, you're going to notice like have a lot to do like the yoni. So any type of berry, strawberry, blueberry, melons, like all of those, great for the yoni. Oh, let's talk about pineapple at some point, because I know y'all wondering. This pineapple myth, I think it kind of died down, but some people may still be on that. And then we're going to get to the GOAT, slippery elm. I have a lot of DMs, and I was going to answer this in a YouTube video, but here we are. We've been forced to get more creative, so now I'm giving it to y'all here. A lot of DMs about the slippery elm. Every time I post it, people are like, what does this do? What does this do? So before we even get to what it does for the yoni, slippery elm is basically a natural mucilage. So what it does is coat your throat and your body in this protective layer of slippery elm, which prevents you from having sore throat, colds, coughs, all of that. It's really, really great for your immune system, but that's like the main benefit, is that it protects against sore throats, colds, coughs. It also, in a way, gets rid of bad mucus by replacing it with this natural slippery coat. So when it comes to the yoni, if it is mucilage, what does that mean? It makes you super, super, super lubricated. This is like, you take 4 of them a day. Comes in like, it's like a pretty big bottle. I get mine from Sprouts. You can get them from Whole Foods. You can probably even find it just like at anywhere where they sell like natural herbs. So like Simply Wholesome, I get mine from there sometimes. Napoli Naturals in Leimert Park. Again, this is like for my people who live like in LA. But if you have any type of natural food store, then I'm pretty sure they have slippery elm. Now, you can also get the loose herb. And that means that you would just have to put it in a tea ball and then you would drink the tea. If you're not a person who is good at drinking tea every day or remembers to drink tea every day, then you probably won't see those effects immediately. Getting the pill, to me, is better because I take my herbs by pill every single day. So slippery elm is the GOAT. It keeps you super, super lubricated. You can actually see the effects. I was taking it for 2 weeks straight before I started to notice like, whoa, this is pretty crazy. It also has been said to increase your sex drive. Now, when I say that, I don't mean like in the way that maca root does. Maca root actually makes you very horny. Slippery elm, I think, just increases your libido, meaning like you want to have sex more because you are more wet down there. Great herb, cleans you out, makes you smell sweet, and then in combination with doing all these other things, you're gonna start to notice that your vagina changes smell. Now, you may think it smells weird. I actually had this conversation with myself the other day. I was like, is that me? And it wasn't a bad smell. It was just like a different smell. But I'm also on this cleanse right now, and I'm not drinking anymore. Oh, let's put liquor, which has to do with sugar. I'm not drinking anymore, and I'm not smoking anymore, which is just my own personal new upgrade to my own health. And I was just like, why do I smell like this? And it's not a weird smell. It's not a bad smell. It's just so sweet. It's just automatically like, boom. And remember, you're the only one that can smell your vagina, ladies. Like, when you're smelling you, you're only smelling you. When we are younger, we got this real fear, especially when we start our period, that other people can smell us. Majority of the time, you're the only person smelling you. Like, because you smell you. You smell your own pheromones. Other than that, don't worry about it. But yeah, it just smelled like super, super sweet because, again, I've been doing all of these things in combination with eliminating the tobacco, eliminating the liquor. I don't eat sugar as it is, so, but again, eliminating liquor means eliminating sugar because even though I don't eat sugar, liquor has sugar in it. So those are the herbs that I want to focus on. So again, chamomile, oregano, basil, hibiscus, raspberry leaf, and slippery elm. As we go on this account, we will come back and do yoni part 2. But that is what we're going to focus on right now. I don't want to overload you. As I always say on the Key to Health page, do not be intimidated or discouraged by having a huge herb library. You just need to get consistent with the ones that you do decide to take. If you never finish a bottle of anything, you're not even being consistent. So adding and adding and adding and adding is just going to be completely overwhelming. You're wasting your money and you're not creating a disciplined type of schedule. So make sure that you can finish it. I'm on my 3rd bottle of slippery elm. That means I finished 2 whole bottles. I think there's about 100 capsules and you take 4 a day. I finished 2 bottles of slippery elm and now I'm on my 3rd one. I don't just buy things just to buy them. Raspberry leaf tea, I always have that on deck. I don't suffer from period pain. I don't have period cramps. I get tired and I take sea moss for that and, just get on about my day. And I get a little bit bloated. I don't get cramps anymore. I used to get the worst cramps ever. And we'll talk about periods and menstruals in a whole other video because that's a deep one. So let's go down to sugar. So a lot of us eat unrefined, unnatural sugar. Now, even if you're saying, oh, I don't eat candy, that's great. But a lot of foods that we don't even think have sugar in them. And that's the thing. We have to get used to reading labels and also just getting into our nutritional facts. Like, that has to be fun for you. Like, picking something up and being like, oh, how much sugar does this have in it? That's very important. Even if you eat, let's just say, like, you like a certain type of drink. Like, you like Nakeds. And you feel like, oh, it's Naked. Naked is just sugar. Like, it's just sugar. So paying attention to things like that. The Naked drinks, the Bold House, all of those drinks are literally just sugar. The only good sugar, natural sugar that there is fruit sugar. So eating fruit all day, not gonna affect you bad in any type of way. Like, but sugar, that's a big one. To my ladies who like to drink a lot, sugar, especially if you like to drink dark liquor. My favorite thing to drink as a vegan, the one that doesn't make my body react crazily, is tequila. It's the most pure alcohol to me, without anything being added to it. But even if you like to drink straight and then you like chase it with a juice or a soda, nobody that's watching this video should be drinking soda. If you drink soda, cut it out. We so past that, okay? We not drinking soda, we not drinking unnatural juices, and we are trying to limit our sugar intake as much as possible. So even those vegan desserts, the vegan ice cream that we all love, just being mindful and also making a conscious decision to cleanse every month or twice a year, so that way those things can be flushed out of your system. As always, we want to make sure that we are constantly drinking spring water. Again, water, self-explanatory. Now, a lot of people think that they can eat bullshit and then they can just drink a lot of water. And then it's like, oh yeah, I'm good. No. You may be hydrated on some level, but your body is not able to really benefit from the hydration because you have all of these chemicals, hormones, antibiotics that are blocking your body from really benefiting from the water. So it's not that H2O is not really affecting your blood the way that it really would be able to if you were on a more clean, natural type of lifestyle. So again, goes without saying that meat and dairy is definitely going to keep your yoni game shit poor. Okay? Then yeah, the sugar, right? The reason why women in particular like sugar a lot has a lot to do with the fact that we are the only species that, we have this, even like, not even just as women, humans, but even like female, like animals, we have this like PMS, right? So Dr. Laila O. Africa, he actually has a video where he talks about the emotional connection between sugar and why women in particular tend to like sugar so much. When we are PMSing, our bodies go into this emotional like overdrive, right? We like to fill emotional gaps with sugar. I mean, even just think about, like he talks about in the video, how when you go to a birthday party, there's cake, there's candy bags, there's just all this candy. And he said, sugar is like a filler in for love. The way that people know how to show love, the only way people know how to show love is by giving you sugar. So think about like going to your grandma's house or going to an older person's house and they'd be like, oh, and they just offer the kids candy. They just give them candy. Sugar has been this way of saying like, oh, I love you and I care about you, for people that don't really know which other way to do so, right? So when we get older, when we have these emotional gaps, when we're going through heartbreak, when we're PMSing, when we're sad, we just want sugar. During PMS, we're losing something. We're pouring out blood. We're dropping egg. So we try to replace what we're losing with that gap. We try to fill in that gap with sugar. And that's why when you're PMSing, you want candy. For me, it's spicy stuff. So I can't really relate. And then my mom growing up used to always tell me, my sister, that sugar makes your cramps worse, which is 100% true. So if you already do suffer from extreme period pain, eating sugar might make you feel emotionally better, but it's actually making your symptoms a lot worse. It's making you more tired because, as we know, sugar is a drug. So much like crack, cocaine, when you're coming down, you're really coming down. And then that's making you feel even more worse in your mental, emotional, physical state. So we just want to make sure that we're being cognitively aware of, yes, I'm not saying don't enjoy shit in life. And also recognizing that there are a lot of other ways to enjoy things that have less sugar that are also really tasty and really good for you, like eating like more raw stuff like almond butter and apples, almond butter and strawberries, date sugar, coconut sugar, making yourself a smoothie. Smoothies always hit, and they're gonna make you feel good. And also eating cold things also makes your period symptoms worse. So eating ice cream it's going to make your cramps worse. But drinking tea with some agave in it, maybe if you want something a little sweet, eating some bananas or fruit with, like, again, with almond butter, or eating some peanut butter, stuff like that. Again, checking the sugar in the peanut butter. Almond butter has 1 gram of sugar, so that's why I always say, like, almond butter for the win. It's good, and it has 1 gram of sugar. But, you know, just being mindful of that. And then also the sugar being in connection to liquor, like I said. A lot of us like to drink, and we do so casually that it's almost like no harm done, right? Mimosas, stuff like that. But if you take the sugar in the champagne and the sugar from the orange juice, you just had a whole bunch of sugar, and that's going to throw off your pH. A lot of ladies like to think that because they have a lot of discharge, they have, like, what we like to call good pussy. Let me tell you something right now. If you have a lot of white, thick, sticky discharge, that's actually a sign that your pH is off. That's also a sign that you are in a highly acidic environment. There's a difference between good pussy and pussy that pH is way too acidic, okay? And when you start to get healthy, you'll know the difference. It's really nothing I can't really even go fully into detail, because I would have to literally, like, it would have to be a physical representation, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, watching porn has a lot of us, like, thrown off from what actual sex looks like, and what real sex looks like, and what a healthy vagina looks like. Because a lot of those ladies in the video have this, like, massive discharge episode when they're having sex and blah, blah, and it's linked to, oh, she has good pussy or she has good pussy. No, her pH is off. I can tell that just from watching porn, and because I know what healthy vagina looks like, because I live in a healthy body. So somebody who always is eating hot Cheetos, always eating bread, always drinking, again, always eating sugar, you still eat cheese, milk, there's no way that your pH or your discharge is in a healthy state, right? And these things affect us in childbirth. They affect us in becoming pregnant. They affect our mood, our spirit, our energy, right? So again, why it's important for your sexual partner to be a conscious eater is because, of course, if you are trading bodily fluids and they are being able to discharge inside of you, these things will affect you greatly. Your pH will be all the way thrown off. You ever had sex with somebody and you smell like them forever? I know y'all know what I'm talking about, because it's such a real thing. And, like, luckily for me, I've had the people who I've went all the way there with have been very healthy. So smelling like them for days and days and weeks after doesn't bother me, because it smells great. Now, when you're fucking with somebody who is in divine alignment with your body and your energy, and also is conscious about what they put into their temple, you will actually see your pH probably even get better, because now, boom, 2 people that greatly care about themselves have came together, and this is actually advancing your situation, right? Which is the only thing that we should be involving ourselves in anyway, are the things that are going to advance us, the people that are going to take us to other levels. Nobody wants to get their pH thrown off for some sex. Now, if you just don't care and you think, oh, I'm healthy, so it doesn't matter, then you just have to go a little bit further into your thinking, because it does definitely matter. And also, anybody who we choose to lay down with, we carry with us for a certain amount of time. To a certain extent, you're carrying everybody that you've ever slept with. So making sure and being a little bit more considerate about who you decide to share that type of space with does benefit you greatly in the long run. Also, thinking about having a child with people who take conscious care of themselves, right, in a certain way, how that benefits both you and baby. That definitely benefits baby and the immune system they're starting out with. We like to think that babies come out with this, like, perfect immune system. It's not that babies come out with a perfect immune system. It's that babies haven't been tainted by the outside world. But not all babies come out with perfect immune systems. A lot of babies, as we know, sad to say, come out with a lot of health issues. These issues are inherited to them from the people that they're coming from. And a lot of that blame is placed on women because they carry the baby, but nobody ever talks about how the sperm also has something to do with that. I posted an article on my personal page about how dairy has been linked to weak sperm in men, which has been linked to miscarriages in women. So a miscarriage is not only on the fault of the mother and what her body isn't doing or is doing, it's also on the fault of weak ass sperm. And again, I think men really get a lot of the benefit of the doubt when it comes to how they can affect a child before birth and how they can affect a child in the making of making a child, because we carry the child. So it's like, oh, something's wrong with her, or, she can't have kids, or, oh, that's her second miscarriage. But no research has really been done, or nothing has really been highlighted about how men's sperm has a huge part to play in that. And the stronger the sperm, the stronger the pregnancy, the stronger the energy and the frequency can be. Oh, we had 24 minutes. That's pretty good. Proud of myself. We basically touched on everything. Vibrational energy behind food is really, really important, y'all. That's really what I wanted to get into. And just being, like I said, more consciously aware. So what your morning routine looks like. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you should be doing is drinking water. Spring water, please, over purified. Why? I talked about this a million times before, and if you want more in-depth reasoning, just go to YouTube and look up Dr. Sebi talking about spring water. Spring water is coming with the minerals from a spring. So those rocks and all that shit that it has to glide past before it gets to the bottom, those are all beneficial for our body. Those are all the good, great germs and bacteria that we need to balance out our pH system, to alkalize our bodies. When you drink purified water, you're drinking water that has been stripped of that and then has been had stuff added to it so that it can be classified as purified. Now, when you're going from purified to spring, you're going to say spring water is nasty. I said the same thing. My mom was the first person to tell me to stop drinking purified water. And when I started drinking spring water, I was like, it just tastes weird. And you know why? Because it's more earthy, it's more natural, it's more alkaline. Anything that's alkaline is going to taste bitter to you. It's going to taste very earthy, like dirty chlorophyll. Tastes like straight soil. Why? Because it's alkaline. It's alkalizing your body. Cilantro. I used to hate cilantro. Why? Because I had a very acidic taste pattern. So once I started being more alkaline, cilantro started tasting good to me. And then when I learned about the benefits, I was like, oh, no wonder. So a lot of those things taste very just too natural for us, because we are in this very unnatural world being influenced by these very unnatural foods. So when you wake up, you're drinking your spring water, you're eating fruit, and you're just letting your body do its thing. You're taking your bowel movements, you're moving things out, you're making space for today's meals, you're meditating on the fact that you ate great yesterday, probably ate late, and now you need to just give your body time. What time is it? It's about to be afternoon here, and I have only ate these oranges and drank some water because I ate late last night. So just letting stuff move, let your system move, and get it needs time. Cells are being created every single second. So while damaged cells are being replaced by healthy cells, you want to actually make sure they are healthy cells and not just other damaged cells coming to take the place of other damaged cells. So yes, fruit sugar is never going to be bad for you. I know some people have questions. That was some of the questions I got in the Q&A that I'm supposed to do for YouTube. Is there such thing as eating too much fruit? Never. You can never eat too much fruit. Now, you know what you can't eat too much of? Berries, and they can make your stomach hurt. But that's because you're only supposed to eat a certain amount of berries, because then they can start making your stomach just feel a little weird, your digestive. But not because they're bad for you, but because of food combining and the way that it works. With the acid that's already in our body and in our stomach to break down foods, it just kind of makes you have a tummy ache if you eat too many blueberries. I remember I said and ate a whole carton of blueberries. I was in pain the whole day. So just be mindful of that. You have to learn through experience sometimes. But yeah, fruit and water in the morning, herbal tea. Let yourself go to the restroom, clear out, drink your water. If your pee is yellow, and you know the yellow I'm talking about, not the regular yellow. Right now, since I want to cleanse, my pee is clear. But if your pee is yellow and you leave a smell behind you in the bathroom, it's just something to be consciously aware of. You need to just drink more water, herbal tea, and you need to cleanse. Say it with me, cleanse. We're going to get to cleansing on here. I talk about this shit all the time. Y'all know that if y'all have been supporters for a minute. But that's my video on the yoni. Step your yoni game up. Stop eating dairy. I know it's hard because it's literally addictive. It is hard. I was at the point where I didn't even eat cheese or stuff no more, but I still drank milkshakes. I was literally physically binded to milkshakes. I have to have a milkshake. I have to have a milkshake. And I would just suffer from all types of issues, diarrhea, all of that. So step your yoni game up by stop eating dairy. Step your yoni game up by switching up your partners. And if you are choosing to have sex with people who you are not consciously taking care of themselves, make sure you really, really, really wrap it up. Don't just be letting people dump in you. None of that, because things like that will stay with you sometimes. And you don't need to be douching. You shouldn't put anything up your vagina but water. When you're in the shower, stop taking so many baths, and start making your baths more intentional. Stop putting those smell good scented body washes and stuff in your baths. That's very European of you, and it's not good for you. Especially if you are of African descent and you're watching this, stop doing that. It's throwing you off. Fragrance is not good. It's actually toxic, and a lot of it is unnatural. The only natural fragrances that should be in your bath are lavender, chamomile, lime, like if you squeeze lime in your bath, like make your baths more intentional. If you are taking baths, put herbs in there, basil, oregano, like all of those herbs can also be added to a bath. But yeah, stop sitting in baths so much. It's throwing your pH off. Even somebody with stank ass breath who not eating right, just eating your vagina is gonna throw you off. So let's just be, I know it's hard because the sexiest ones be unhealthy. The ones, they be so unhealthy. They eat McDonald's still and Jack in the Box, and you're gonna have to look past all that. And if you really love somebody and you really care about them and you're really trying to take them with you and you feel like teaching, then you need to make sure that you can, like, you're teaching them and you're trying to take them on the journey with you. Me, I'm out of teaching mode. So best of luck to y'all. Love y'all. Thanks for tapping in. I hope you learned something from this video. Peace.